Hello, everyone. This is Charles Walter Buntjer coming to you from San Francisco, and this is another video on one of my birthdays around the world. Now, I've been to Indonesia and Cambodia, Jamaica, Jordan, all kinds of places. But this year, 2022, for my 82nd birthday, I decided to go to Reno, of all places. Now, I think this is going to be a good plan for anybody who lives in the Bay Area, or if you come here on a couple of weeks vacation, to go to Reno. And if you follow the plans that I've used to go there this time, I think you'll find it very easy to get around. The first thing I found out was Amtrak leaves from the East Bay, and you can take either BART, which is the Bay Area Rapid Transit subway system, or you could take a cab and get to any of the points along the East Bay where the Amtrak stops. I'm lucky, I live 2 blocks from BART, so I just walked over to BART, 8 a.m. in the morning, got on BART, and I went on the East Bay to Richmond, where I got off and walked across the street to the Amtrak Richmond train station. The train is like a 5 hour or 6 hour ride to Reno, and it's wonderful. You can sit in the observation dome car and relax all the way up there. I got a glass of wine, and there's also a snack bar there. So I could sit there and just really enjoy seeing all the towns that we went through and the mountains in the distance and so on. A wonderful way to get to Reno and not have to rent a car. I got to the train station in Reno and asked if my hotel, the Eldorado Casino, was very far away. They laughed. They said, go out the door, turn right, and walk 2 blocks, and there you are. So off I went to my hotel, a huge hotel, wonderful staff, and a wonderful location. I took a tour around the building and found a place to eat and had a nice dinner there. And the next morning, I also had a nice breakfast there before I began my day tour of the city. Everything is close. You can walk to everything. Now, if you want to have a tour, there are tours around, but you could basically do everything on your own. off I went to the National Automobile Museum. It is huge. It's wonderful. It's on the river, and there's must be 6 or 8 huge rooms with every kind of car from 1890 to maybe, I'm not sure if it's 1980s or so. They even had one of the cars had a jet engine in it. It was supposed to be the fastest automobile in the world. They tested it out in the desert, of course. And there's a place to snack and stuff. So very nice. And then I went back to the hotel and relaxed there and had a nice dinner. The next day, I walked over to the Museum of Art, and there they have mostly local artists and Native American painters and artists. And also, they had a room with all kinds of porcelains in it, and Picasso had one of his plates there, of course. And there was a place to snack if you wanted to and have coffee or whatever. Then I walked past the City Hall, which is beautiful. Now, the Truckee River walk is really nice. There's miles on each side of the river where you can walk. There's parks, there's cafes where you can sit and have a drink. And just a wonderful, wonderful way to enjoy the afternoon, especially if the weather's nice. I then went to the main library, which is really interesting. The building is not very pretty. It's just 2 or 3 stories tall, a block square, and it's just covered with gray or brown metal. But the inside is something. I couldn't believe it. It is completely covered inside, like, I guess, some plant shop or something. It's just unbelievable. Plants everywhere. I think it's probably the most densely packed library in the country or maybe the world with plants in it. Check it out. It's just unbelievable. So back to the hotel, and I relaxed a little bit and got all dressed up, ready for my big 82nd birthday dinner. I was going to go down the street because not far away from the Eldorado is a really great steak house. But I thought, well, maybe I'll just stay in the Eldorado because the La Scala restaurant was built as one of the top restaurants in the country for pastas. Well, we'll see about that. I went down, and first of all, they sat me at a small table against the wall, which irritated me because I'm a single person. And I said it was my birthday. They said, that's nice. And then I sat there 10 minutes, and I finally got mad and said to the server, where's my drink? where's my anything? I don't know. I said, I was pretty irritated. They said, well, fine. So they got me a glass of wine and they came with the menu. And I said, well, what's a good thing to have? I'm not sure. I said, well, so then he said, well, this is the favorite. He said, we're known for, and that's what everybody orders, this pasta dish. So I said, fine. So finally that came, and the pasta was so-so. The dough wasn't really up to stuff. I didn't even taste what was inside of it, and the sauce was so-so. And I was irritated about that. And then I guess I had dessert. I don't know if I had a birthday cake or not. But anyway, so much for that. And I did have to laugh. I should have had the steak just because it said all over town that La Scala was the place to eat it. So much for that. The next day, about 11 o'clock, I was going to go early to the train station because I don't think it was going to leave till 1. But I got there and I was reading my iPad, and a couple other people came in, and pretty soon it was full. And we went out and waited for the train, and it didn't come. And we went back in, and an hour later we went out, and there was an announcement the train was having problems. So to go back inside. So inside we went, another hour went by, and then they said the train was finally coming. So out we went and got on the train. And off we went back to the Bay Area. Now I was sitting in the observation car again, and there was two men and a woman sitting next to me, and they pulled out three bottles of wine. It was one of their birthdays, so they asked me to join them. So of course, how could I not? And so I spent the rest of the afternoon with them, gossiping and drinking wine, all the way back to Richmond. Now I got to Richmond, and it was 9 o'clock, pitch dark. Got off. About 10 of us, I guess, got off at Richmond. I looked across at Bart. Bart was leaving. The train was leaving. It was the last train on Sunday night because they closed early and the station shut the lights off. I said, great. So then they were going to shut the lights off at the terminal, at the train station where I was. And everybody had rides except one woman and myself, and she saw a cab and grabbed it, and off she went. And I'm staying there and thinking, what am I going to do? Crap. So I'm in the parking lot by the bushes. I hear this psst, psst. I said, And this Middle Eastern man says, I have a cab. Where are you going? I said, well, I'm going downtown San Francisco, Market and Polk. It's just a straight shot from here. And he said, well, I'll take you for $60. And I looked in my pocket. I had $55. He said, that's okay. Get in. I guess he wanted to get paid under the table. So off we went toward the Bay Bridge, and as you can see, here is the eastern side of the new Bay Bridge all lit up, really spectacular. We went through the tunnel on Yerba Buena Island, and then on the west side of the Bay Bridge, and down onto Market. And the cab driver pulled up in front of my place, and I guess it was around 10:30, and I got out, gave him the $55, and upstairs I went, walked in the living room and looked at the view of the city, and I said, "Hooray! I'm home. What a wonderful time. What a wonderful 82nd birthday." So I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe use it as a reference if you want to go and see what's going on in Reno. Cheers. Mm-mm-mm.